All right, so I'm here with the infamous Mr. Park and Mrs. Young An. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and answer some questions that I had. First of all, I'm very very honored to be a part of this new project, this new mission, and I'm just very anxious to share it with all my friends and the people that I do business and that I serve in my communities with. So if I could just kind of get through some questions here. So, Mr. Park and Mrs. On, whoever wants to go first, Dreams Come True Foundation. It's new. It has to do with affordable housing, and it has to do with helping minorities, possibly even veterans. Like, how did you get started? Like, why did you? What got you started in with this organization? If you can kind of start with that.
Mr. Park, go ahead. I will.
Yeah,
There.
I'll try to make it as brief as I can. Uh, so both Young and I, we have served, a lot of different organizations, and one notably the Asian Real Estate Association of America. I served there for like 13 years or so, and that's a trade organization. And during the pandemic, before the pandemic, we're also busy carrying on with our lives. But during the pandemic, it gave us time to sit down and reevaluate a lot of different things, and where I'm spending the time, and what kind of result, and what is it that I'm getting for all those efforts. And we had a lot of discussions, Young and myself and a few other leadership people, and we decided that there has to be more than what we've been doing all these years. And are we really making an impact with our community? And do we have a legacy? Do we have something that we can leave behind for our children? So that's where the discussion got deepened, and we decided to found this organization called Dreams Come True Foundation. So we are a 501c3, like a true nonprofit organization, such as like a Red Cross, Goodwill, Habitat for Humanity, and so on. And what we're trying to do is something tangible, right? And lately, there has been a lot of issues with the homeless because of lack of affordable housing, right? To rent and to purchase. It's not something that can be left, for other people to handle it. We figure, as real estate professionals, this is something that we can tackle, right? And we also saw a lot of young generation not fully understanding what this industry is about. So we talked about mentoring, and then ultimately we want to strengthen our community, right? The community that you and I we live in. In order to do that, we need to get united, right? When people get united, there's opportunities, there's things, there's an impact, there's a voice. And so we're trying to create a platform of all the community leaders and the real estate professionals. And when I say real estate professional, I don't mean just a broker or lender. I mean anybody that has anything to do with real estate, with CPA, attorney, developer, contractor. We want to gather all of them together to contribute, for them to have a voice, and to really impact our community and leave something behind that our children can be proud of what we have done, right? That was a little
Wow.
tour.
Wow, that was beautiful. So let's go back to the first one, affordable housing. So on the affordable housing, just so I have an idea, would it be like if I'm a renter or I can't find an apartment to rent, is it like you're gonna help with subsidies like paying for rent, or is it like if I'm buying a house but it's too expensive, so I'm gonna need like, is it like a grant program? Like what are some of the ways that the consumer or the prospect would benefit? How would they benefit by engaging with Dream Come True Foundation?
I guess I can answer the question because I'm a more of the, like a regular residential agent so much. So I've been in the business for the 30 years. I realize, the become as a, renters become my client eventually for a few years down. But it depends on the location, where it is. Most of the time, even the renters in here in my immediate area, Arcadia, San Gabriel Valley, housing is still more expensive than compared to others. So the first home buyers become still, it's quite a price tag, but they don't need any assistance. But back then, because I do not have a problem with my clients, I did not know there's a such thing called assistant, down payment assistant and grant and all this. And then as we're in more after, this trade organization like her area, from there, we met a lot of these lenders and also a lot of this housing, so-called, grant programs, and all different bank provide closing costs sometimes. So, but a lot of Koreans actually are very shy from asking those questions. And then they do not want to really search for those informations. So if we do have one, whatever it calls, they can call and ask, I want to rent or I want to buy a house in the future down the road. Is there anything that you can help me? Then at least we could able to guide them. There's such a program. And, if it is a rental, there's another housing assistant. So those kind of things, which we realize a lot of Koreans actually not aware. And compared to other communities that I notice, because a lot of Chinese people, Filipino people, because they're not afraid of their kind of communications, but Koreans are very shy. So those kind of things blocking this to having their, whatever it's out there, they could take advantage of, and which, they don't know even where to call to ask. That's, I think, it's practical things that we could able to make this organization and help them. Whoever calls from anywhere, we have everywhere to our, chapters, the realtors and lenders, and they could able to answer those questions begin with. And like even for the renters, later it become your client that who can able to buy their houses and then become eventually will end up with our business too.
Got it. So, for example, if I'm like a Korean, renter and I'm looking to see if I could qualify to buy a house, that's my first time, I could potentially call Dream Come True Foundation, and then they'll connect me with like a real estate agent or some mentoring,
Yes.
counseling.
Yes.
And okay, got it. And then so how does Dream Come True Foundation determine which real estate agents or which professionals are representing these clients? Is there some sort of like qualification that makes them, or is it they speak the language?
No, I will take this one. So, Dreams Come True Foundation, DBA, KAREP, Korean American Real Estate Professionals, right? So there are two components to our organizations. One, Dreams Come True Foundation is like the Habitat for Humanity. It's all about philanthropy, right? Giving, serving, volunteering. And then the CAREP is the membership component, where we are working to get nationwide coverage, having chapters in all the major metropolitan areas, and then also get connected with Korea, and then Korean real estate professionals around the world. So with all that network, we hope to produce opportunities for our members, right? Now, going back to your question, which is affordable housing and all that. Now, those projects take 5 to 6 years to complete, right? It takes a lot of effort. And then we're also gonna work on the, like relocation services. And there are a lot of projects that we are thinking of. Now, who is gonna get their hands on those opportunities? People who come out and serve, right? People who are on the front line, I think they deserve to get a first hand at those, opportunities. And it's kind of a natural thing. If you are the one, like the last, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we attended a home buyer fair. And then, there were 500 people. It was raining, a heavy rain day, cold. It was historically cold day as well. We have 500 people come out. And then, whoever, one of our members who were willing to join us at the time, they would be walking away with all those buyer leads, right? They came to serve, and then they walk away with those benefits. We don't do these things so that we can make more money, but because of what we're trying to do is people call it like a karma, right? If you give, it will come back to you, kind of a thing. But if you don't give, if you just sit there, then the chances of getting something back not gonna be very good, right?
Got it. So when you say the affordable housing could take 6 years, now I think I'm starting to understand this. Is the foundation actually like going to own properties in like a commercial property in this 6-year period, and then we're gonna rent it out, or maybe houses that we rent out and sell? Is that like part of the mission and operation as well? I'm just asking because I don't.
Yes. There are other nonprofit organizations who are already doing this, and one of them that I was, find out they had more than like a $1.5 billion under their asset, under management, right? So what we intend to do is we want to be self-sustaining organization. So when we build this apartment, affordable housing, the apartments or houses to rent, we will be owning them as much as possible, and we will generate rent and some income from that. Of course, it's not going to be like a private venture. I'm sure the profit margin is not going to be like that, but we intend to generate profits, and with that, so that we can keep on doing more of those things, right? Yeah. And then after I'm gone, I still have a few years left in me, but after I'm gone, hopefully the new generation, hopefully the new board of directors and governors, they will, take over and continue the work that we have started and so on.
Got it. Okay, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So it's like at the same time the organization is acquiring real estate properties and acquiring the wealth, it's going to be able to serve the mission better because they can give back, and there's going to be volunteers and servants who can provide that service constantly. And then while they're doing that on an individual basis, some of these real estate professionals or even mortgage tax attorneys can also make sure that their services, the good ones, the ones that do their job properly, can benefit from that. It seems like I can I can see that. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. So then I think that kind of answers the second part of it, the mentorship program. Is there anything in particular that you envision like could benefit, in the mentorship program? Like, there's all kinds of real estate agents and real estate professionals out there, but what extra maybe that they haven't, seen out there, could they expect to receive as far as mentorship benefit from this organization?
I think I don't know, it's the second generation. We're obviously first generation. Second generation, the way they grew up differently than us, obviously. So
We had it too easy compared
so,
to your
yeah, very
generation.
easy. Like one of my clients does, she complained she just had a newborn baby, and even though they paid $1 million, it's not big enough for sure in this area, right? And she's complaining the place is already small, and they need to move to bigger house. And the mother says, we used to live just 1 bedroom, and that's it for everybody. And she said, when was that? So the second generation doesn't understand the concept. They had it as soon as they hit the ground, they have it at all. So I think it is especially when you're looking at last COVID years, it made it even tougher for the people, some of the generation. So we could able to, as a older generation, we could, sharing whether they feel it or not feel it. There was this time, and still that is still happening around us. We have roof over our head all the time, but you looking at the people who in the street, this heavy rainy days, those people may not be like this. If you had guided some ideas what to do with their financials and all that. So if they're much brighter generation, and with all these computer skills or whatnot, so as we sending down our emotions and what was really happened, and it is still happening, and those are the people that we could able to make themselves on their foot and roof over their head. So that's something that they could do. I think those kind of mentorship is very important. It's everybody's genius, everybody doing the great job, but there are so many people actually not. So as a first generation, I think that we can give them to the second generation to mentor them and to help and reach out the community to make it as a whole, then we wouldn't have this kind of problems everywhere.
Got it. Got it. So I can imagine like, the relationships along the way that were built over the years and the wisdom and maybe the mistakes, all of that is kind of all packaged into the mentorship program. I can see that. That makes sense.
Let me piggyback on what Mrs. An just said. The Asian Americans and Korean Americans are very like in Google, right? Google did a research to find out why the Asian Americans are not climbing up the ladders. Even though, the top guy is an Indian gentleman, the CEO, but Asian Americans tend to be great workers. They just keep their head down and just keep working. But they don't climb up the ladder. It's because of the culture difference. Because of, they don't usually go out there and network and let themselves be known. And the humility is a virtue for Asian culture, especially I know Korean American, Korean for Koreans I know. They start by humbling themselves in everything that they say. Oh, I'm not worthy, kind of a thing. But that's not how it works in U.S. society. They don't see that as a virtue. They see that as, oh, I guess you're not good enough. So those things, it's just a part of the mentoring that we hope to do. And to be a little bit more precise, when you see these U.S. major corporations, granted that they are like KKR, one of the biggest private equity firm in U.S. The CEO is Mr. Bae, is a Korean American. However, those are very far in between. When I, work with all these corporations and whatnot, given the population that we have in U.S., I don't see too many Asian American executives in there, right? Blackstone, B of A, Chase, Wells Fargo, all these major companies, I don't see too many Asian Americans climb up the ladder. Why is that, right? Maybe it's a lack of network. So there are a lot of open questions out there, which we want to be able to answer them and help our younger generation to find out more about what real estate and finance industry has to offer. For example, like in the commercial real estate, people don't know what capital market is. And there's such a big, huge market, and people don't know what that is. And I'm sure a lot of, the civilians, they don't know what a secondary market is, right? So things like that. Those are some of the mentoring that we want to be able to offer to our younger generation. I hope I made some sense there. Yeah.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. I think that will give a lot of reason for even people, in my network. I'm thinking of many of my peers that they do real estate, they do loans, but are they really looking at the real opportunities and what is connected to it up the ladder? That I don't think we have we don't have the opportunity to think about that unless someone brings it to our attention. So it's more of this organization's mission to reach out to them and put that information out there. I think that's the only way the information will get to someone like us. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's a lot of Korean first generation. There's the only job, either doctor, lawyer, engineer. That's it.
Right.
There isn't any other, right? And looking at a lot of big financial companies, and like Peter Park said, we don't see any really corporate executive on the top of the financial ladder. Especially, it's a huge market there. So those things actually we could mentor them from their younger stage. They have a lot more opportunities, and you don't stay in your room or your cubic corner. Then you could look up, and those people, other ethnicities like Hispanics and blacks, and they're all up there. And but like a huge increasing of Asian population, we hardly see any on those people. So we could introduce them. There are more than as a job, lawyer, doctor, engineer. There should be more. So hopefully it's something that we could able to give more broad opportunities. Even financial markets, they're not only just a bank, they just to walk into the bank and that's it. There are a lot more than the banking, right?
Right. And I think a lot of people are more curious these days, especially with what happened recently and all these things that are happening. Like, people want to learn now. More people want to know what's going on, and we should. I think everyone should know what's going on so that we pay attention. So okay. Well, Mr. Park, Mrs. On, thank you so much. That answers so many of the questions that I had actually, and I'm sure my colleagues and peers will have as well. So this seems like a very big opportunity for us to be involved in our communities, help the homeless. There is no reason anyone should be homeless in America at this point. But if we can build houses, build real estate, and then help people along the way, and we can individually possibly benefit professionally with our own businesses that we also provide, that's like a win-win-win. So,
Sure.
looking forward to the opportunity. So, any final words before we end this interview?
Young, please.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I think we all have to have a same goal to serve our community first. And eventually it will make your own opportunities too. But the mindset of this foundation to help our community to better society. That's it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, for me is to make it simple, we wanna improve, strengthen the community that we live in, right? For ourselves and for our children, and be able to do things and leave behind things that your children will be proud of. You don't need to talk to your children, every day, and it will become a 잔소리. You know what that is, right? Yeah.
Nagging.
It doesn't register, but I mean, there's a generational gap, right? They talk differently, they think differently, but we want to do things and the things that they can see and touch that they will be proud of. And for example, one of the projects that we hope to do is flipping properties, right? We buy distressed properties, or we get donated distressed properties, we fix them, and with the profit, we will fix another house and donate it to perhaps a veteran or a family in big distress. We are changing lives of those people completely, right? If your children see that, they will be proud of you, right? They will say, my dad, my mom is a good person. The person, my parents are doing things for the humanity. It's something that as a child, if I was a child, I would be very proud of and try to emulate that, right? I think that is less stronger than 1,000 or 10,000 words that you can share with your children. So that's what we're trying to do here with this Dreams Come True Foundation, DBA Carrot. So please join us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and inviting us. All right, we'll go ahead and end it there.
Thank you so much. See you later.